This is the Real Sports Fan Podcast, back for another episode. It is May 24th, 7:06 p.m., getting a little bit closer to the holidays, and got a very special guest, man, my bro right here. We've been talking about this for a while. We planned it a while back, and he's graced me with his presence, man. Joshine, better known as Ringgold. Ja, what's good, bro?
Hey man, what's good? What's good? Thanks for having me on, and I'm here, man. I'm ready to get into it, dive right into it.
Man, definitely, man. Like again, I appreciate you. You know, like I said, we've been talking about this. We planned this like a couple months back, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
We
yeah.
talked about it a while ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope. You know what I mean? That you took out some time to do this, man. And for everybody listening or people listening for the first time, basically what we do, man, is really just tell stories. We talk about, positive things, and we give flowers, man. And I want to get this young brother his flowers now. You don't got to be a certain age to get your flowers. You know what I mean? So I want to get this guy his flowers now for what he did for the community, what he did for Easton, and just being a humble guy. You know what I mean? I mean, every time I met you, man, just a humble dude. Even when you was a kid, you know what I mean? You was just a good kid, and even as an adulthood, man, the interactions we've had, maybe few in between, but the ones we've had, man, has been dope, man. So I just want to salute you, man. I'm looking forward to getting into more of your story.
All right, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I pride myself on that, just staying humble. You know what I mean? For sure.
Yes, sir, man. You can go a long way if you stay humble, man. You always have been. So I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody listening. Facebook Live, this will be on YouTube as well by tomorrow. So we're gonna get right into it. I know everybody been waiting. It's been some great conversations already about this young brother here. Oh yeah, most definitely, man. One of the goats, one of the goats of the shore. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope, man. We here to talk about it. So, first and foremost, man, I know a lot of people know, but just talk about how it was growing up in Easton. Your childhood and just getting a little into a little bit of that.
Okay. Well, growing up in Easton, I grew up in the apartment buildings, Parkway Apartments, right there by the elementary school, and it was a head start there. And, everything has changed now, but I grew up right in those apartments. I just remember, man, running around with the older kids, just being a kid, running around with some of the older guys, doing some of the things we shouldn't have been doing, and I'm a youngin', and at the same time, like I'm aggressive. I was just aggressive as a kid. I was real aggressive. I'm getting into a lot of things, like far as in school and all that, getting into fights, moms having to, you know what I mean? Oof. They having to call moms, and you know how moms is. You seen how,
Mom don't play.
Yeah, you seen how hype she was at some of the games. So when they called mom, I knew it was trouble. You know what I'm saying? It pretty much was always just me and my moms, and then some years down the line, Deontay Henson, he stepped in, and got to give him his props because. Definitely. I still call him my step pops to this day, because coming up, he kind of had my back, like far as what I should be doing and shouldn't be doing in school, all the way until I got to high school. So he was like a real father figure to me. And him and my mom's was together at a certain point, and he kind of was the first guy that showed me this is how a man's supposed to carry himself. This is how a man's supposed to act. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And just, stepping in and giving me life lessons. And my mom had me when she was 17. My father was 21. And for a lot of people that don't know, my real father, he did 10 years in prison. So I didn't know my real father until those 10 years was over. Yeah, I would go visit him, but we didn't have a father and son relationship. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I think that's where some of that aggression that I had, it was just built up. And I didn't at a time when you're a kid, you don't know how to voice. You don't know how to voice yourself, you know what I mean, your
Yep.
opinion or how you feel. So you kind of just acting
Definitely.
out. You know what I mean? You kind of just
Yep.
acting out. And you know, of course, you know, with the acting out, you struggle. You start to struggle because kids are going on ahead. Like they're going ahead, they doing what they need to do, learning what they need to learn. And here I am, I'm lashing out and you know what I'm saying? And I'm not picking up
Yep.
on things that I should be picking up on. You know what I mean? So eventually I end up you know, definitely getting it together for sure. Definitely getting it together. As soon as Deontay started to step in and, you know, kind of kind of had to get with some of the staff. You know, he definitely had my back. So I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, definitely shout out Deontay, shout out to Coach, and you know, having that male influence, especially you know when you know he might not be biologically your dad, but he was there in that role, and that means a lot. And then when you talked about lashing out, I know what you mean. You know, sometimes, especially as young boys, we don't know where to put that energy at. You know, where to take that energy at. You know, so as you continue to get older and mature, obviously you know, you was able to grasp that and voice that, man. So I appreciate you sharing that and being so open to share that as well. At what age?
Sure.
I know you say you have some issues. Kind of what age did you get into sports and start picking up whether it's basketball first, football? You know, talk a little bit about getting into sports a little bit.
Man, I think it probably was about, I want to say about the second grade. Second grade, I started getting into basketball because you know, Keith, one of my friends coming up, Keith, we would just had a little court outside and we'd be dunking. Man, we playing we playing the NBA Live. This is when they kind of fake put Jordan into it. So I want to be Jordan now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out the moves, and then on top of that, you got the whole at this time you got the whole and one mixtapes and all that stuff
that
coming out. So
yeah.
I'm like, man, all this is around me. I was like, man, I got to figure out how to do this. You know what I'm saying? I really like doing this, and I want to put my all into this. This is what I want to do. And from that early on, I kind of just locked into it and learned the basics on my own, and kind of just learned the basics on my own. Like I would go out every single day, man. Right out, it was a court right out Parkway. It's still there. I will go right out back, right out to the court, right out back, and on the blacktop, man, I'm working on my handle, because I stunk. I ain't gonna lie, I stunk at first. You know, traveling, double dribbling, yeah. But once I got the basics down and I'm seeing the N1 mixtapes, I'm like, oh, you can go through your legs like this, you go behind your back like this, and it's legal. It's legal. At least I ain't traveling. Okay. Then I was kind of already athletic, so I started putting my speed into the game too while I was practicing and doing those things on a day-to-day. And I wanted to beat the older folks. You know how it is. Some of the big dogs out there. So I had to put that work in so I could be able to, you know, try to get at some of those cats first.
That's dope, man. Yeah, and it's crazy because you know no one had to tell you to get out there or even show you. You know, you went by what you seen, and you're right, man. That I know right what area you're talking about because the N1, you know, with Hot Sauce and the Professor and Baby Shaq, you know what I'm saying, and all those guys, man. At that time, man, you know, I remember all that. So you're right. It made you want to get out there. And at times, it made you want to get out there and start dribbling between your legs before you might even know how to dribble with your left hand or dribble, you know, regular. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. You know what I mean? I appreciate you even saying that. So you started on your own. When did you start getting into the organized ball? Because what a lot of people, you know, might not understand, man. You know, street ball is one thing, but organized ball is totally different. You know, what age did you start playing organized, and where was it at?
I want to say it probably was around the same time because probably like second grade going into the third grade. That's when I met Troy Bullock. Just to jump into that, I met Troy Bullock.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm trying out for the YMCA league. My mom's bring me out there, and of course, my biological father, he was real well known. So me and him is like we're like a split image, And so you have your little tryout, and you got your coaches around, and you playing your pickup games, and then I look over to my side and I see Troy, and all I can see him, I'm reading his lips. He's like, "Man, who the hell is this little dude? Like, he going between the legs. You know what I mean? He hesitant on people, and you know what I mean. I had a little AI, you know what I mean, a little AI
Yes,
crossover
sir.
too, just to get by. And he's like, "Man, who is this little dude?" Troy Bullock and Gordon Jeter, man. And they picked me up right away. They was like, "Nah, we want him on our team." You know what I mean? With our two sons.
Wow.
So their two sons was Tay Bullock and Gordon Jeter, who played at Salisbury. And we all ended up we ended up growing up with each other. And I learned the basics of the game, like the fundamentals of the game from Troy and Big Gordon. Big Gordon, I learned the fundamentals of the game from them. And then, just to dive into that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's dope. And I've always heard great things about, Troy Bullock. Met him in passing, God rest his soul, but never got to have like a real conversation with him. But I can remember playing at the Y, and in the corner would be him and Tay working out. You know what I'm saying? He would be working them out. Like when the big guys get done, he in there working them out. So I know that he always had that work ethic, and obviously he passed it to Tay. I played with Tay in a couple to the Wild time in a couple tournaments, but passed it on to you too, which I didn't know. So that's dope at a young age, getting that hard work mentality, and then as you get older, knowing what to do with that.
Yeah, he pretty much he instilled that in us, man. Just you see him, he's a guy. He gets up every day. I mean, real definition of a man. He get up every day.
Yeah.
You see those things. That's a father figure that I had someone to lean on. You see this guy get up every day. He busts his tail. He come home to his family, make sure his family's straight, make sure Tay's straight, his daughter's straight, his wife is straight. But then on top of that, he still have the energy to come do some of the things he, had to do with us during the weekend, as far as his tournaments. Even me just staying over, eating up his food. You know what I mean? He just cracking jokes, man. He was just like one of those guys like you would love to just be around. And you know what I mean? Without him, I don't know where I would have been at, to be very honest. I don't know where I would have been at. He kept my mind focused on basketball at all times and not worry about all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
For sure.
That's dope. Yeah, that's dope, man. We all need people like that, and people like him, make you obviously we adults now, make us want to give back because of what we've seen. People like you said, Troy Bullock, and for myself, Richard Guy, Hawkeye, people like that. So we need those people, and like you said, we remember those things, even as we get older, what they've done. So I appreciate you sharing that. I don't know if you remember, but and I think this was AAU. You might have told me what AAU you was playing with at the time, but my first interaction with you, I used to work at Dick's Sporting Goods in Salisbury, and I knew Shadi. You remember that? You see me there? You and Shadi came in with the team. I think y'all had maybe a break in between games or something like that. But I remember you coming in with Shadi, and I knew you obviously. You know what I'm saying? And then Shadi knew me. You know what I'm saying? But just that little interaction there, I said even from that, I said, man, I gotta watch this kid because I could see, something was different, with both of y'all, you know what I mean? But I knew that your game was gonna grow. But what AAU was that? Do you remember, what that was or where y'all
met? Yo, so, just to jump into that whole, Troy Bullock thing, he ends up linking up with Dale Green. I don't know if you remember Dale Green, but
most definitely.
Yeah, Dale Green.
Most definitely.
Yeah, Coach Dell, he put together a basketball team for us, and I think he kind of got us into tournaments and things of that nature because we need to go play other competition. We playing each other. We don't know what it's
Mm-hmm.
like on the outside of the shore to go
Right.
somewhere. All right, yeah, we nice here, and then to go to Salisbury and be like, oh, okay, this is what these guys on
Mm-hmm.
over here. You know, these
Yep.
dudes, they seem like they was like
Yep.
6'6" before. You know what I mean? Before they even hit
Right.
middle school, and we playing against these
Yeah.
guys losing by like 30. And I just remember
Yep.
vividly, like going to some of those tournaments, and yeah, we getting our tail kicked. You know, we're coming up together, we're getting our tail kicked, and then next thing you know, we work on our game. We're working on our game. Next thing you know, we started to kick some butts. You know what I mean? We
Mm-hmm.
starting to beat
Yeah.
everybody else now. And of course, you know, my competitive nature, yo, these dudes see me going at these dudes, they kind of just fall in
Right.
line and like, oh no, we
Yep.
ain't scared. You know what I mean? We
Mm-hmm.
fearless out here. We ready to go to war with anybody. You know, so you know, as that picked up, you know, we started beating some of those guys, and I remember Troy saying like, yo, y'all gonna win the state championship together, as long as y'all stay together.
Wow. That's dope, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man. He put, like you said, he instilled that in y'all at an early age, and we're going to continue to
Mm-hmm.
get into the Salisbury and into the Y High as we go forward, because it's like I told you before we went live, is that, you know, we were the
Mm-hmm.
same way. You know, we went to the Salvation Army, you know, played Y
Mm-hmm.
High, got our butts kicked, was close some, and we might even beat them maybe, you know, once, but nothing like what you guys did, you know. So I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
you even saying that, because, you know, it reminded me, seeing you and Shotty that day kind of reminded me
Mm-hmm.
of myself in those tournaments. So man, that's dope. That's real dope. So just to fast forward a little bit to get into your historic and legendary high school career, I do
Mm-hmm.
want to start with, you know, your freshman year. You know, talk to me a little bit about how that year went. From what I understand, and if I'm wrong, let me know. You start off on JV, but you end up getting called up, you know, sometime during that year, you know, to varsity. Talk a little bit about, you know, the JV aspect of it, and then also the varsity aspect of it as well, freshman year.
Yeah, I feel like this what any kid that needs to know. Like, okay, JV, we was running through guys because we've been together for so long, and it was just like, you know, you kind of already you just got to put us in the right
You
spots,
know,
and then from there,
yep,
I don't even need you to call plays because I know where everybody gonna be at, and I know everybody's strengths at that point and weakness. You know what I mean? Far as my team go. Um, so we running through guys. You know, I look like LeBron out there on JV. I feel like I feel like I'm
yep,
like supposed to be on varsity. I feel like I'm supposed to be on varsity because I'm like, yeah, I'm going at some of these dudes too, and I know for a fact, you know what I mean, I could hold my own. And plus, I'm just a fearless cat. Like you put me in
yeah,
front of anybody, like I'm ready. I'm ready to go to war
yep,
with you. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
So fast forward a little bit, they called me up. Uh, they called me up during the playoffs, man. And I remember my first like 9 points was all threes, man. I was hitting threes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting
Yep.
into it. Like, man, it was crazy. We end up going a little bit deep. We go deep into the tournament, and
Mm-hmm.
almost making it across the bridge my freshman year too, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what made me like honestly just kill Y High for real. Honestly, what made me just kill Y High. What's going on? Chilling. Yeah, honestly, what just made me kill Y High was like Bonzi hits a floater.
Mm-hmm.
Bonzi hits a floater to like freaking
Hello.
win the game.
Yep.
And I was like, from
Yep.
that day forward, I'm just gonna kill these guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you said that and segued that because and shout out Bonzi too. He always been a real one. When he was younger, I remember when I lived in Salisbury, I used to see him all the time. Always was a good cat as well. But I'm glad you said that because I remember you guys had the I think that was the year y'all had the before you played Y High, y'all had the four overtime game against Edgewood.
Edgewood, yeah.
And one by two, four overtime, crazy game. And then you play Y High, lose by two. And you're right, Bonzi had a big floater, had a big game, but you still held your own as a freshman. So you holding your own as a freshman, what confidence did they give you going into your sophomore campaign, knowing that I just got called late in the year? I haven't even had a full season to really prepare myself. You know, you're playing with guys like Ron Stanford, like Boot, shout out to Boot, guys like that. You know, so what was your mentality like after that? Because you had that heartache of losing to Y High, but as this story goes on and people hear about how you ended up, you know, beating Y High a lot of times after that. So talk about that a little bit.
So basically I understood like the speed is different. I don't care. You know that from JV, varsity, all the way to college. The speed is real different. So during that summer, man, I put the work in. Marty will put together just like strength and conditioning during the summer. And I made sure I didn't miss it. I didn't miss many. And I put that work in because I understood like what kind of pressure that I had on my shoulders for real. And I wanted to carry my team I wanted to excel, man. I wanted to be great. Honestly, just wanted to be great. And I knew I had to put that work in. And that's something, you know, again, Troy preached that, man. You know, you got to put that work in. And whether I'm working out with Troy or I'm working out with Marty, Marty, you know, he brings a different kind of mindset to the game. He's going to show you some things that, you know, you might not pick up, you know. So he really started slowing down the game for me. Marty slowed down the game for me. And when I got out there in my sophomore year, man, my confidence is through the roof because I'm like, man, I just went through 4 overtimes. We almost beat Y High. I'm like, oh man, this is nothing. But then to get more into it, you know, you got dudes that's kind of on the same level. Now you worrying about your Herb Dennis's, you worrying about Maine.
Yeah, yes sir, yes sir.
You got dudes that's on your level, and then you got Colonel, man. They might get at you. It's just like it's a warrior thing. You know, you can't take no nights off. That not in our league. You can't take no nights off in our league at all.
None. That's what I said. There's always someone gunning for us, you know. And if you you know, look ahead to the next opponent, you can always be got. So like you said, that mentality of you know, taking care of who's in front of you, you know, that's well said. And like you said, man, the Herb Dennis's and I definitely want to touch on him in North Carolina. And actually, you know, we can do that right now. It's a good segue because and shout out to Maine, shout out to Maine too as well. I know he watching. North Carolina had about a 6-game win streak on Easton. You know, by the time you had got there, obviously before you, and in the regular season that year they had beat y'all twice. But as we know, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. So you guys ended up playing them in the playoffs. Talk about that because Herb had 39 in that game. But what you guys did is you kind of let Herb, and a lot of teams try to do this, but it always wasn't successful. Let Herb get his, but you didn't let the others, you know, get theirs. I know Maine had, I think still 9. I think it was Karan Bell, if I'm not mistaken, had like 7. But but you didn't let everybody else get going. Talk about just that rivalry during that time, because to me that seemed like more of a rivalry than Easton Cambridge at that time, which is hard to believe because Easton Cambridge always is the biggest rival. But by that time, to me, it seemed like Eastern North Carolina was a big rivalry. So talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, you know, Herb and Maine, my father's, he's from Denton. So me, Herb, and Maine, we always had a close relationship since we was kids, man. And we always were competitive. Like always want to win. Who's the fastest? Who can flip the highest? Or you know what I mean? Just
Yeah. Anything competitive, yeah.
Anything. Who can ride the bike the fastest down the hill, man? We come in, all sparred up after being outside all day, and then we had these sock and bottoms joints. So it's like, who got the best hands? Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we are going at it like all day just as kids. So then, just to jump into basketball again, Herb and them beating us twice throughout the season, I gotta hear it, man. They texting my phone.
Yes, sir. You got, yeah.
I'm seeing Herb going crazy, you know what I mean? Everybody going crazy over Herb and the papers and all that. But what they didn't understand was Marty was preparing us from the beginning of the season. Again, Marty, I don't know, man. Marty like Phil Jackson, man. So
He different.
When it came time, we was practicing like a triangle defense, and just the whole season, like he was like, we're not going to use it on anybody yet because we don't want to expose it. So he's like, we're going to use a triangle trap defense, something like that, of that nature. And he was like, it's okay. We're going to let Herb do all that. We're going to let Herb get his 39, almost 40. But we're not going to let these guys kill us. We're not going to let their energy kill us. But then you got Book. Book, he's just coming into his own now. He's finding out who he is. So they had some problems on their hands with him. Yeah. And us just feeding him in the paint. Yeah, it was a load. And he moving Quran around. And plus, they didn't beat us twice during the regular season. That leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. So, man, we was out for these guys, man. We was out for these guys. And then I just remember beating them, and that was crazy. Everybody storming the court and dancing in the middle of the Bulldog joint. Oh my God!
Wow. Oh man.
But then at the same time, that's my brother, man. I'm seeing my brother hurt. So yeah, I can celebrate. I grabbed my mom. My mom, we had a big hug. She grabs me in the middle floor. She says she loved me. I said I love you too. And then my brother instinct that kicks in. So yeah, I'm celebrating. I'm hyped, and this is our senior year. It's over.
Yeah.
So I go into their locker room. I just go into their locker room and I should show them love, give them a hug, because I still got 2 more years. You know what I'm saying? I still got 2 more years, and to understand how much they love the game too, I had to go in there and show love and make sure those guys was straight, because they was hurt. They was hurt, but I had to do it. We had to do it to them.
That's dope, and I appreciate you saying that. And one thing that you did there was you showed how humble of a guy you is, and because you end up doing that, and we'll get to that. Even your senior year to Jamal King, we'll get to that down the road too. About showing good sportsmanship. You know what I mean? But being your brother, obviously you're gonna make sure your bro good. And you touched on a lot of things. I want to stay here for a second. You touched on some good things. One about Marty, you're right, man. His mind, I don't know if you remember, but he coached me. He was my assistant coach my senior year, and just the plays that he sets up and just the way he thinks, man, it's second to none. He was on the show last year, man. Had a good conversation with him. So you're right. He does think differently, kind of like you said, that Phil Jackson mindset. But I do want you to talk a little bit about 2 of the guys you played with. Obviously had a complete team. Don't want to leave anybody out, but I do want to focus a little bit more on Boot and also on Ryan because I always kick myself because I didn't get to see Ryan play but maybe a game or 2, and the numbers he was putting up at one point was crazy. And then I always tell Boot when I used to see him at the Y, I didn't know who he is until I seen he had 20 and 28. Against Edgewood the next game. You know what I mean? So talk a little bit about being the third option on that team, with those 2 guys being 1 and 2.
It's pretty much, man, hey, it's like I know my time will come where I'll be the number 1 option, but whatever it's going to take to win games, like that's what I'm out there to do. And I kind of had that mentality. All right, you need me to lock somebody up. tonight, so my
Mm-hmm.
my other
Mm-hmm.
boys, they can eat and they gonna be all right. You need me to lock somebody up. You need me to go grab 10 rebounds or score here and there, then that's what I'm gonna do. Because I always been an unselfish guy too, the whole time, all the way through.
Yeah.
My game
Yeah. You
was
were.
always like, I can go get it, but I'm kind of unselfish too. I want my team to eat.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Ryan, man, Ryan is another guy. He put that work in, man. He put that work in. Um, Me and him worked out a lot during that summer, so I understood his game. Like I know what he was coming out to do, and our main target was really just Denton. We know we had to get past those guys, so
Yeah.
we had to figure that out. And just playing against some of them during the summer or here and there, you kind of start to learn their game a little bit. So you're not surprised by nothing
Yep.
when you jump out there and in between those lines. Book,
Yep.
oh man, Book was like he's one of those guys, the kid that like he just get to high school and he just start playing. Like
Yeah.
you don't know nothing about this dude, right? And
Yeah.
you see
Yeah.
how big of a presence he is, and he got his footwork, he got a nice touch around the rim. You like what? Like you had this whole time, bro, and you just now
Yeah.
you just
Unleashing
now
it.
surprising everybody, man. So
Yeah.
Book was like a big brother out there, man. He was the enforcer for real. Book was like the enforcer. He was, funny guy, big
Yeah.
teddy bear
Yeah.
type of a guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it just was like one of those like, thank God he's on our team.
Mm-hmm. Because I wouldn't want to have to guard him. Yeah, big look.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So
for real,
for
for
sure.
real.
For sure. Shout out to Boots, man. He still like that. Last time when we played at the Y and stuff, man, he's still a load down there. But I always tell him, I said, I remember reading the paper when y'all beat Edgewood, and I was like, who's this kid got 20 points, 28 rebounds? Jefferson kid. I was
Yes.
like, who is this kid? And then it wasn't until like years down the line I ran in. I'm like, you was that kid? You know what I mean? So it's just funny that you said that he was definitely a load down there. But you guys end up, like you said, you beat Queen Anne, beat North Carolina, beat Edgewood, end up playing I think it was City. They had I think it was Nick Faust end up going to Maryland. Talk about that experience, winning the regionals. I mean, which was my God, hadn't been done since '88. Yeah, since Donnie O, Gibbo, those guys had Donnie O on about a month or so ago, talking to him, which was dope. Talk a little bit about getting there, that feeling, and then also when you had to play, City, and how the difference was with talent.
Man, it was like if I had to compare it to something, it probably is like going up against the Monstars. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. Because it was just like there's a different. These dudes is going D1, big time D1. You can tell they got the height, they got the speed. They have a 6'8". I forgot his name, but they had a 6'8". He ends up going to Xavier. And then you got Nick Faust, who's going to Maryland. He's 6'6", wing guy that can shoot from anywhere. Shoot from anywhere. So we go over there, and at this time, it's just like, all right, we're gonna go in, we're gonna give our best shot at it. We're gonna do what we can do, and that's pretty much how that went. It was just like, man, once we got out there, it was like, oh, okay, this what we up against when we come over here. So for me, I knew it was over. It might have been over for those guys, you know what I mean? And it's sad it ended like that. You know what I mean? It's sad it ended like that. Shoot. I wish we could have lined up with somebody else, but City, it was like they kind of was destined. They was the best in Baltimore at that time. That team was the best in Baltimore, better than even Dunbar at the time. So we line up with a team like that. It's it's not too much you can do, But again, my confidence is just through the roof again. After that, going through that whole experience, because I had a pretty decent game going at those guys, going at them. And we're like, okay, we definitely coming back. We coming back, but next time we come back, we're gonna make some noise. For sure.
Yeah. That's dope, man. That's dope because, and I'm glad you said about your confidence, and I do want to key on that, but it was a great year. Like I said, you guys, regional champs. It definitely hurts why it happened, but like you said, when you look back and think about, what you did, it's definitely, dope. Just like you said, for those seniors, that wasn't going to be there the following year, but you knew the talent that you guys had coming back, on that team. And for yourself, man, to be a sophomore and to make second team All Bayside, averaging 12, 4 and 4 that season as a sophomore, man, I'm sure that your confidence even grew from that. So, and just a shout out Book, he made first team. Ron was co-player of the year with Herb. Marty was coach of the year. So, you guys definitely got the accolades, for that as well. But talk about what your confidence is growing, knowing that, okay, I'm coming back next year. The ball's going to be in my hands. I know you're a team first guy, but you knew you was going to have to, pick it up, scoring a little bit more with Ryan and Boot gone. So talk about the work you put in that summer with LT. I know you grew 2 inches that summer. Did a lot of strength training, on your legs. You was over the rim your junior year and stuff like that. So talk about the work that you and LT put in, or you and whoever else put in that summer between your sophomore year and your junior year.
Man, that was, again, Marty, strength and conditioning. Marty, and making sure I'm coming there. I'm starting to see results now. I'm like, okay, that's what I put the work in for. I'm over the rim, and going at LT, that's not an easy job. I don't think there's too many people that can stay in front of him on a one-on-one. So just seeing, him putting in that work with me, seeing his game speed, and seeing, some of the things that he does around the rim, or how you shoot the ball or how he passed the ball. He does a lot, man. And kind of just, he's like a big brother, He's like big brother. And I got to see him play in high school, and some of the things he did was amazing. So I always pride myself on like just having that Easton pride, that Warrior pride, it's orange and black. Like, how it goes.
Yes, sir.
Dio. Yes, sir. Donio, Joel. And those guys will whip up on me too. I'm playing against these guys now and the YMCA, and they like, they got their weight on. This is Joel and the Dio with the muscles. And
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who else? Who else? I'm forgetting somebody. Nipping them peoples, Ryan's.
Okay. You talking about name slipping me now. Yeah, name slipped me now. But you just talk about even the work that they helped you do during that summer, even going up against them.
Yeah, them dudes whooped up on me too, going up against grown men now. And even my uncle Jamel, man. He's
Oh man. Oh, I know about Jamel. Shout out Jamel. Dog. He on here. Shout out Jamel. He gonna talk to you, let you know too.
Yes, he gonna talk. So, that grittiness that I got, like me just, I'm flexing on dudes and all that. Like I'm yelling on dudes and all that, like smacking the backboard. I got that from my uncle, man. My uncle playing out with street ball and letting dudes know, like, yo, he always said it, yo, you can try to make me go left, but I'm gonna get back to that right and it's over.
That's that Mamba mentality, man.
Yeah. So that dog and what you seen, like just that grittiness, that, like that, just having that swagger, it came from a lot of that. Just knowing like if I can beat these guys and some of the things that they did in their high school career, I know like nobody can really mess with me. Only I can beat me at this point. And that's how I felt.
Yeah.
Only I could beat me.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And like you said, shout out to Marty for, that strength and conditioning, man. That's big. We didn't have that during the summers. So for to have that set up like that where you can go and get that work in, that's big. You know what I mean? And thanks for sharing that, because now it makes even more sense. The season that we getting ready to talk about, that y'all end up having. And then, like you said, with Jamel, that's my dog. You know what I mean? So I know the mentality that we played in tournaments together and had a lot of conversations, stuff like that. And he'll get on the court now and try to go right at you. It don't matter. You know what I mean? So that's him. It don't matter. It don't matter. So your junior year, I don't know if you remember this, but the first game of the season, to me, when I'm going back and reading this and looking at this, and some I remember as well, because I got to see a lot of your games, more than a lot of people. But Corey Holden, the first game y'all played Bennett. Bennett had Corey Holden, which was a freshman at that time, up going to South Carolina and whatnot, and I mean you took it to the whole team and you got a tough victory, 71-68 to start the season, man. What do you remember? Do you remember anything about that first game, about that opening night, or just to start the junior season and how things are going to go?
I kind of because again, when you got one of your top guys, you putting that work in, I'm holding everybody else accountable now. It's like, yo, you got to show up the strength and conditioning too. You got to come in here, AJ. If your strength is, that's your strength. You playing defense, bro. Like, you need to be guarding some of these tough guys. LT, I don't care who it is, whoever the best guy, that's who you need to be guarding. Even if you guarding me, bro. Like, I need your all, man. And once they see us going to work out, me, Shadi, Gordon, Tay, and that holds the whole team accountable. It wasn't no, oh, we missing this. You can do what you want to do after, but right now we taking care of business, and that's how it was.
Yeah.
And just to get back into the whole Corey Holden thing, playing in Salisbury, I know who Corey Holden was. I knew this dude was in no slouch because they was talking about him when he was just a young.
Yeah, he was younger.
Young cat. Yeah, he been killing cats since he was like 10. He'd been killing cats since he was like 10, and might have been playing. He might have been playing in some leagues that was older at the time because he was so nice. So I knew who Corey Holden was, and after that game, this when the internet started kicking. He hit me up on the Instagram, and I just gave him some words of advice, like his freshman year. I was like, "Hey, bro, you got to keep going, keep grinding, and man, the sky's the limit for you, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And you see what he went on to do, and he's really he's one of those guys that he's one of those guys for sure.
That's
but
dope.
Just to jump off the season like that was important because we think we could just ready walk through dudes. Nah, we knew we had to bring our best every single night. Again, can't take no nights off, man. Can't take no nights off.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 15 lead changes in that game. You had 22 points to kick off the season. So that was definitely a great start to the game. And and just your even your teammates that y'all bring back, with Ike Pulley and like you said, a young Gordon Jeter. Like you said, you mentioned AJ. I call him Mr. 94 feet. You know what I mean? He pick you up as soon as you get in the gym, and he gonna take you, till you leave out. So that's Mr. 94 feet to me. Shout out AJ. And like you said, in Capri, his development that year, was real instrumental in what y'all did. So, like you said, a lot of the games y'all had, and I'm fast forwarding a little bit too and going back and forth, but you guys at one point started 18-0. And even I forgot that y'all started off that tour. I mean, 18-0, it was crazy. Ooh. I think the only one y'all ended up losing to was I didn't know y'all played Dunbar that year, the regular season. Which I didn't know. Yeah.
All right, here you go. Here the twist. Here the twist of that.
Yeah. Talk to me about game.
That. This is why I kill Y High every single time. I ain't had no choice. So Marty put their non-conference. See, we already played the amount of games that we needed to play at the time. Marty had them on our schedule. I think it was like a snow day or something. Got involved with that, and we couldn't go to. Of course, we're not traveling all the way to Baltimore in the snow. So they pushed the game back, and was like about to cancel the game as a whole because we already played the amount of games we needed to play. You know what I mean? Just getting into that. But nah, Butch, the legendary coach, Butch was like,
if they were,
he was like, if they was on the schedule, they gotta go play Dunbar. They on their schedule, you gotta go play Dunbar. So then, next thing you know, we lose to Dunbar. They get the #1 seed. We got to go to Y-High and play after beating them in the conference game.
Yep.
I mean, after beating them for the whole, the conference championship.
For the whole thing. Yeah, whole thing. Yeah.
We supposed to have a home court. We know how important it was, you know what I mean, to have home court advantage against those guys. So we go to Dunbar, and we're leading at halftime. We're leading at halftime.
Oh, okay.
And then next thing you know, Dunbar, they got that Baltimore dog in him. You know how that go. They ended up stepping it up a notch, and we ran into those guys. They was pressing a lot. It seemed like they had a bunch of AJs that day. I don't know what the coach said to them at halftime, but it seemed like they had a bunch of AJ Gibsons on their team, and super athletic. And before you know it, we end up losing by like 8, and we know what that means. Like, Y-High gets the home court advantage. Oh, we going to Y-High. So right there, I'm mentally just preparing for that on the ride home. I'm understanding. Marty pretty much let us understand like what is going on and broke it down to us, and that just added fuel to the fire after he let me know that. Because ain't nothing more I wanted to do than play Y-High in Easton in front of our fans. You know what I mean? And then Butch turned around and did that. For real.
Yeah. So, and you know what? It's crazy. I was wondering about that. Thank you for saying that, because when I was going over, I'm like, how did Y-High get home court? And, y'all had the better record. Then I didn't talk about, and y'all basically breaking I guess I can call it a generational curse, because y'all beat Y-High in the Bayside game 67-61 as well, because I was at that game, was at the playoff game too, and that was the first time winning the Bayside in like 26 years. You know what I mean? So I was wondering about that. That's crazy. Yeah.
So on the whole ride home, we lost. We in Baltimore. We done took this long ride. We in the trenches, as they call it now. So I'm like, man, when we play Y-High, I'm gonna kill these dudes. I don't know. Whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna kill these dudes. And I knew about Trey Morris too. I knew about Trey Morris playing in Salisbury. I knew how tough it was gonna be. But I got AJ Gibson.
That's right.
I got AJ Gibson, man.
That's right.
We good. We good.
Right. Yeah. And I was gonna say, and we can segue, right into that. Talk about that playoff game, because like I said, I got to see a lot of y'all games. I was living in Suburban at the time, so I got to see a lot of y'all games, especially when you came up south. But talk about that, because you guys already got them in the Bayside, and obviously that means something. But obviously, it's playoff time now. Time to a chance to win regionals and get to the states is what matters even more than that. So I'm sure you guys, they had that in the back of their mind. So talk about that playoff game a little bit, and kind of how that went.
I remember that week. Our practice was so intense that me and AJ got into a little scuffle. For real. Because AJ, being the pest he is, I think at the time I'm like, school kind of kicking my butt. We just lost to Dunbar. We got to go to Y-High. So I got all this on my mind. So we practicing. AJ going hard, man. He giving me everything he got. Like, AJ, stop fouling me, bro. We just walking through some things. You fouling me. Come on, man.
Preparing
He fouls me again, boy. Next thing you know, I throw the ball. The next thing you know, Marty just started blowing a whistle. You know what I mean? But then after that, we dap it up. And then AJ, I just tell him, like, man, before that game kicked off, I knew how important he was, because he kind of took a back seat to me. He kind of was like, I want to say my Dwayne Wade, man. Like, if I'm LeBron, he's Dwayne Wade a little bit. Like, and I know he's a dog, man. He's gonna be a pest. He's gonna do what he need to do to get the best player out of the game. And I kind of just talked to him before the game. We sitting down, and I said, "Hey, bro, I need you, man. I really need you tonight, because I need to go score the ball. I know it's gonna be a back and forth. I was like, I can't really waste some of my energy chasing around Trey or anybody else. So
Right.
I'm gonna do my job in the help, but I need you to be in this guy. I don't care if he's going to the car, man. You got to be in this guy pocket
Yeah.
tonight. And
Yeah.
he went out and
Yeah.
did that. Capri hit some big shots. What he did all season. Capri hit a lot of big
Yep.
shots that whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He did.
And
He did.
we went in there, and I was like, I'm gonna kill these dudes, man. And that's what I did. And I wanted to see that look on Butch's face. You know what I mean? Winning in front of a
Mm-hmm.
crowd like that, and just
Yep.
killing those dudes like that. And I did it really for our whole community. As far as the Warriors, I was like, I'll never lose to those guys again, and it's something that I pride
Mm-hmm.
myself on for sure.
Yep. You definitely did it for the community, bro. And like I told before, for to do what you did, in a hostile environment. I mean, you scored 33 points that game, which matched your career high earlier that year against none other than North Carolina. So that's all I always tell you about. Then you got North Carolina, that rivalry, what you did. You had 33 that year. You also had some other tough games that year. Y'all had a double overtime game against Queen Anne's. I don't know if you remember that. You had 27 in that one. That was the crazy game with DeMonte Dodd and them. But yeah, 33 against Waha in the playoff game, 17 in the second half. Capri has 12 of his 18 in the second half, and then Ike gave you a big 10. And then on top of, like you said, the contribution from AJ's defense and just a total team effort from Tay to AJ I mean, that's what y'all guys did. Great coaching and all that. So you guys end up beating them by 8, in Waha, which I'm sure was an awesome feeling. And then you end up having to play, I think it was Faustin. And yeah, Faustin, and it wasn't even pretty much a contest. I was at that game too. 73-49 was that, and you had game high 21. Shotty added 15, and man, you guys going right back, man. Second straight regional championship. I mean, it was tough. To get a first one. You guys, it's 2 straight, man. Yeah, it was just dope to see, man, and being there. So just talk about how that felt, man. You was going back.
Oh man, that was just like, this is what we worked on the whole year, right? This is like all the work we put in. Again, going back to that Queen Anne game, Capri hit one off the glass. He was hitting big shots.
He did. I was there.
The whole
he did.
season. Like,
he did.
I don't know what he threw up, but it just slid off the glass and just went right in. And I'm like, oh man, this dude. But hey, he like J.R. Smith, man. We just gonna let him shoot.
Yeah.
We don't care where he's shooting
That's
from.
it.
Yeah, that's it. But man, like knowing that we put the work in and this was like our goal and this is what we want to do, but we still was focused though. Because remember, we lost in the Final Four, that first round. So now it's like, all right, we going up against some dudes that, all right, it's kind of pretty even matchup. I think they had 2 guys that was going D1, but we matched up with them pretty well, and we was more athletic than those guys. So it's like, nah, we not coming here we're not coming here to get walked over. We come in here to like let y'all know who we are for real. This is the second time we over here. We about to really show y'all what's up now. So we went over there, man. It was like, okay. Man, we just beat Waha at Waha. I don't think it get more crazier than that. I felt like the gym was rocking back and forth. They got the DJ and all that. So
yeah, they be in there rocking.
Yeah, it was crazy. But okay, we got our feet wet the first time. The second time, we not starstruck. We used to this. Getting the bus ride to the hotel, being on campus, just chilling, being, in the locker rooms and stuff like that. Like, all right, now this is comfortable now. Like, we supposed to be here. So once we got there and Marty put together a great game plan, and we went ahead and executed and got on to the next round. Yeah,
you guys beat South Carroll 69-52. You had 19. AJ added 16. Capri added 10, and Jeter added 9. So you guys definitely took care of them. And then the championship game, you guys end up playing. And like you said, that was a step forward because you guys had lost in the Final Four the year before. But now you got to the Final Four, won that game. Now you're in the championship against Digital Harbor. What do you remember about Digital Harbor? I know they ended up winning by 18. But I mean, you gave it all you could. I mean, you had 24. Don't like anybody else really got going. But what do you remember about that game, that championship game?
I remember they was like, they got some kid. He's going to UNLV. He's kind of nice. I'm like, oh, yeah, I hear you. But we trying to go win this thing. You know what I'm saying? And what I remember vividly is I remember making a layup to give us some momentum at a certain point during the game. And it put us up by 2. Excuse me. It put us up by 2. And next thing you know, I look to it's something I've been doing all year. It's like a hop step. You know what I mean? I did like some sort of hop step.
I know what you're talking about. I know what
I've been doing it all year. Yeah.
Doing
it all year. And I finished with the left. And then next thing you know, I look over and then I hear the ref blowing a whistle called travel. This is like we're gaining momentum. Like I think if he don't call that travel, we start to go up. Our confidence is building. We start to change the game. We start to get up probably by like 10 because these guys started fumbling the bag, started turning over the bag. So, and this one thing I hate, and I'm a humble guy, and one thing I hate to blame a game on is the referee. But, dude, it got to the point like, as soon as you reach your hand out, you feel the whistle going off. So now the momentum is dying.
Yeah, it's dying.
We dying slowly right now because it's like, if we touch this dude, they're gonna blow the whistle.
They're gonna call something.
Yeah. So it's like it's taking the air out of us, man. I just remember them going to the free throw line. I don't even know. You might even can look this stat up. I think I don't even think we went to the free throw line in the second half. They went to the free throw line like 21 times.
Yeah, it could. Yeah. You're right. I can get that for you because, man, they shot 34 free throws. They shot 24 for 34 from the foul line. 24 for 34. That's crazy.
Yo,
and y'all only shot 13 and hit 10 of them. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
And we lose by 18.
Yeah. So that's right there. That's ridiculous.
You know what I'm saying? That was crazy. That was a crazy experience. And then that's what I started to understand. It might be some politics that go into basketball, man. It's not all just fun and games now. It might be a little politics that went into that. And I remember being heartbroken because these guys we fought all year. Everybody fought all year. We worked hard, man, to get to that point. And that it doesn't happen. You just don't go back to the finals. You don't, you know what I'm saying? It just, that's just how life is. This is like a once in a lifetime thing. And for those referees to kind of like, to be honest, feel like they snatched that out our hands. It's like, you did this at the time. We kids, man.
Yeah, kids. Trust me. Yes, sir. I know what you mean, bro. Yep.
We're
you
kids,
messing
man.
with kids. Yeah, we kids.
Yeah. Yep. Like, as a grown man, you gonna do that, bro? You just read the stat.
Yep.
You take some of those calls away. We right there neck and neck with those guys.
Yeah, because look, it was only a 3-point game going into the fourth quarter, and a lot of their free throws also came in the fourth quarter. They outscored on the fourth quarter 23-8 because of the free throws. Like, that's ridiculous. I mean, you can't do that to kids, man. But that's how they do. That's how they do over across the bridge, man. That's how it is. Sometimes they do it in the South too, but that's how they do it across the bridge. But that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
It was so bad, yo. Honestly, it was so bad. Guess what they did? Guess what the University of Maryland, or just the whole organization, you know what they did? Marty probably got it. They gave us a sportsmanship award for the whole tournament because how we handled ourselves and how our fans handled themselves. Even though they was upset and we was upset, the coaching staff was upset. The whole they gave us a big plaque. I think Marty still has it. A big plaque. It's a sportsmanship award for the whole state of Maryland, like basketball, and just based off how we carried ourselves and all that. Yeah, we wanted the big one, but they had to make up for it, and that's how bad it was. I'll leave it at that.
That was.
I'll leave it at that.
That was something. But like you said, definitely was there. They took it from y'all, and but you guys had an awesome year. Like I said, I mean, be 18-0, get to the state championship game, be regional champs. And again, I know you a team guy. But talk about from an individual basis, your junior year being named Bayside Player of the Year as a junior. And that doesn't always happen for you to elevate your game like you did. And Don, I know you can't see the Facebook comments, but even Donnie was saying, well, he did say too that you was right about him guarding you and trying to bring the dog at you and dog. He said that in there. He said I definitely did. He said I had to do that to the young king. I had to do that to the young king. But
he beat me up. He beat me up.
That's what he said. But one thing that he said on here, which is true, was that, which I always respected about you too, is that you always showed up for the big games. Everybody don't always show up for the big games. So the games that what you did your junior year to go from 12 points as a sophomore to basically 20 points a game, 2.5 steals, I think 5 boards, close to 5 assists a game was crazy. You know what I mean? And to be named Player of the Year, AJ and Capri also joined you on the first team. Talk about that individual accomplishment.
I think it just had a lot to do with just, man, that's just that dog in me, man. That's just that dog in me. That's, again, coming from those guys beating me up, or me playing on a blacktop and getting scarred up, getting my nicks and bruises there, and just putting that work in, and really just knowing Troy is in the stands, having Troy like presence around, and knowing I got to show up because I don't want to let him down. I don't want to let my team down. So it's just like, I ain't gonna take no night off, and I'm gonna give it all I got. You know what I mean? It's just like Westbrook, man. I got that same mentality when I step on the court. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know when I'm killing your team. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna yell on you. I'm gonna slap glass on you. I might even dunk it at the end just to send y'all out of here.
Yep.
I didn't did that to Denton.
I seen that. I seen that too. Yup. I seen that too. Yeah, against that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna do all that to you. So I think again, just being able to accomplish that. Again, I couldn't do it without my team, but I think that was just some of that dog mentality that I had in me, and just wanting to win, man. It came down to just wanting to win, lock in and wanting to win. Bad, yeah, wanting to win bad, man.
That's dope. Yeah. And I always respected your game because you could score at all levels. I loved your mid-range pull-up. You could hit the three. You drove hard. You hit your free throws. You played D. I mean, you just did it all. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that real quick while we transition to your senior year. I talked a little bit to Marty about this. I don't know if you got to see the interview last year, but I talked a little bit about Marty about this, about the transition for you going to play the point guard position full-time basis, because I know obviously AJ was the point, and I know you talk at that times, but with college and stuff like that, obviously they want to see you with the ball in your hands on a full-time basis. And I felt like you had the perfect person coaching you, because Marty also had that same transition where he was a 2-guard, and his senior year he had to move to the point. So talk about the transition, even before we get into the game and stuff. Talk about the difference in the transition from 2-guard to the point guard position your senior year.
It's like how can I put it? It's like I knew all the plays and I knew where everybody was supposed to be at, and because we did the same stuff, and we kind of Marty drilled that stuff into us, drilled it. So coming into it now, it's like I gotta understand, like, all right, I played with Shotty a bunch of times, but I need to know where to find his spots, or if Shotty not on a night, then I know, all right, now it's time for me to take over the game. I might even have Shotty bring the ball up one time just so I can get on the wing and go do something. Or I might even have Gordon bring the ball up on the break. So now I can go ahead, I can go take his position. If I got a smaller guy on me, I can go ahead and put him in the post and do what I got to do. So now the game is like, it's chess now. It's not just running back and forth, up and down.
Chestnut checkers.
Yeah, so now I got to understand a new group basically that I'm playing with, and pretty much they're some younger guys. So I'm big bro now. I'm big bro, and I got to talk these guys through certain situations when they get sick. So me just being a point guard, I'm stepping more into a leadership role, and just having Marty guidance. I've been times I bring the ball up and I look over at Marty, and Marty like, don't look at me. Marty's like, don't look at me. You the point guard, man. Go call something. Call something to get us out of this situation, man. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I respect him for that. I respect him for that, for sure.
That's dope. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely something Marty would say. And like I said, I remember, those games. I remember that transition, to the point guard, like you said, with AJ, graduating, and you talked about the younger guys now and the leadership. Some of that leadership was gone with Capri also graduating. Before we go a little further into a few games in that senior season, talk about the development that you knew that did happen with Shotty. I know y'all are tight, and also with Gordon Jeter, because he really, elevated his game that year as well. Talk a little bit about them two, if you don't mind, about Shotty and Gordon that your senior year.
Shotty is like my right-hand guy. You know what I mean? We like yin and yang. So a lot of times I was putting that work in. I was dragging Shotty out the bed like, nah, yo, come on. We're going to put this work in together. And then he started doing it to me. You know what I mean? We young, so we out during the weekends. Nah, he'll wake me up at like 6, and it's like, oh, nah, we about to get this run in, bro. We about to go get this run in, and you know what we about to do your senior year. So Shotty was just understanding his game, knowing where he's going to be at. I know he's a shooter, sharp shooter. He can drive it a little bit. I knew he could do that, but he put the work in too. So I had confidence in him. And Gordon, I think he was waiting on that moment to really like show who he was, because he had that in him, but it took a lot to pull that dog out of him and helping him understand, like, yo, you got a big role on this team. Like, we need you. You know what I mean? We need you for sure. Like, just his 6'4" presence, man, in the paint, grabbing rebounds or dunking, or you know what I mean? He was doing a little bit of everything, man, bringing that energy. Also, Ike was big. Ike played a big role too.
Ike was big. Yes, he did.
Ike was big. Ike played a big role. But again, we was playing together since we was in like 3rd grade. We've been around each other, so we kind of understand each other's game. And we went out there. Marty put the chess, put the chess pieces on the on the court. And it was like, hey, read and react. If this happens, this guy's going to do this. You know how Marty get down with the X's and O's, for sure. So we knew what the other team was going to do before they even did it, to be honest. So all of that stuff helped. Yeah, all that stuff helped.
That's what's up. And definitely, like you said, Ike's development, and also another guy that's kind of unsung here, did a lot of little things down there. Big boy, was it Ron Miller? Ron Miller.
Oh yeah,
he was Ron
big
too.
Ron Miller.
Big Ron. Big Ron. So you guys definitely had the core down there. And like I said, those young guys, your leadership. I can even remember you talking to those guys, out on the court, and you wasn't getting on guys if they made a mistake. You would go, pat them on the back, pat them on the butt, say, you're good. So, stuff like that, man. I watch little nuances like that, you know what I mean? Because it means a lot, man, when you got a leader like yourself out there. So your senior year, you guys had some peaks and valleys. but you still only lost, as far as sticking to the regular season for a second, you still only lost 4 games. You lost a 1-2, a heartbreaker, and you can tell me if it was I heard it was a stat error or something against North Carolina. I know you guys lost that by 1. You lost to Queen Anne's, and then Kent County was overcoming. You lost, I think, to the Kent County. But besides that, you ran through everybody else. What do you remember about that season? And like you said, you playing a new position and got some younger guys there, but you guys still, had a great regular season. What do you remember about that?
I remember just being kind of like again, you stepping into like a big brother role too. I remember a lot of times, some guys really didn't grow up yet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They still got another year, and some guys they didn't grow up yet, and just holding people accountable, man, and letting them know like how important the season is. You know what I'm saying? And everybody is transitioning into that young adulthood, so you got a lot of things going on. You got, think about it, not to speak too much on it, but we living like rock stars, man. We'd have just went back twice. Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
They gunning for y'all.
Yeah, and it's also any town we go to, we kind of like local celebs now. So, again, some guys didn't grow up yet, and then women, the young women, they got involved.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
yep.
I just remember it being like I'm taking like a big brother role, and I let those guys know at the beginning of the season. I said, I'm gonna take us there, but I don't know what we're gonna do when we get there. So I remember having that conversation with those guys.
Man, that's real. That's real though. That's real that you was honest, and that you foreseen the things that you needed to do, as a leader as well. So, man, that's dope. Mm-hmm. That's dope. Talk about 26 points against Colonel Richardson, 65-58 victory, and you scored your 1,000 point. Talk about that. How that what that meant. Coming after LT. I'm sure you started thinking about the work y'all had put in, and talk about what that meant to score 1,000.
Oh man, that's something you dream about doing. Honestly, that was like a goal for me from day one. I was like, I want, seeing L do some of the things he did. I was like, man, I'm chasing them. This is kind of like somebody to chase after. Like I spoke on it before. You know how like Kobe was chasing Jordan at certain things, and that's kind of what it was. L was that guy, like that guy. Like he's up here. I'm trying to get to that level. I'm trying to get peak at that level, and I'm chasing this guy, and I'm like, I'm gonna do some of the same things he done, like, you know what I mean? And that was a goal for me. And I remember Marty calling a play. Marty called an alley-oop. I couldn't get my foot in right, and and my foot slipped a little bit, but I just went ahead and laid it in, and then they blew the whistle, and I was like, I didn't even know how many more points I had, to get to it. Marty wouldn't even let me know until that last play. Marty like, hey, you 2 points away, like go ahead, And I was like, all right. So that was dope. That was dope.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's a great feeling. That's a great feeling. We had mentioned North Carolina, and obviously, going back to your sophomore year, y'all losing 2 in the regular season, beating them in the playoffs. I didn't touch on it your junior year, but y'all actually beat them again and fell to junior year. Talked about High, same thing. You beat them. So your senior year, High comes up again. That you get to face them in the playoffs. And that's why I said, man, I don't think you understand what that meant for Easton, man, because I got a lot of friends at High. Shout out to Bubby Brown, Craig Wander, all those guys that I know a lot more, and they used to whoop up on us, and for you to go in there and continually beat them, and I know times, man, where even guys like Trey Morris say that they can never beat you, or they could be there by the East, and it was because of you and the impact. They still talk about that, man, to this day. So you guys get to play them again in the playoffs your senior year. You beat
Oh
them
yeah.
59-50, and I mean, come on, man, 28 points and 15 rebounds. Come on, talk to me about the 28 and 15, and where the 15 boards come from, man?
Um, man, again, I made amends to myself. Like I would never lose to those guys again. I don't care what I gotta do. If I gotta go grab 15 boards, I think they had a younger group though. They had some young
Hmm.
dogs and they was
Yeah,
playing like a
Jamal
fast
King.
paced game. Yeah, they was playing like a fast paced game, and that was kind of up my alley. But I'm the
Hmm.
older cat, so I'm moving guys around. Like I'm grabbing boards over guys, I'm
Yeah,
putting it back in. I'm screaming on dudes and all that. And
yeah,
I just love seeing that look on Butch's face. And I think he said it after the game. If
yeah.
I'm not
He did.
mistaken, I read it. He said
Hmm.
they just got that Ringgold kid.
Yeah, that's
What
what they
more can I
said.
say?
Yeah. Hmm.
They just got that Ringgold kid, man, and that's it. That's all he could say. He was just like, man, that
Like I
dude.
said.
And shout out to Bush though too, because after high school, he did a lot of he helped me get through to a lot of places, a lot of avenues. Good
Oh,
guy.
good.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Shout out to Bush for that. And like you said, yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, 28 points, 15 boards, 19 in the second half. Lot of exciting plays he made. Your bigs, were very dominant against their
Mhm.
younger team. Man, y'all bigs, Ron and Ike played real
Mhm.
good. And I mentioned this earlier about and you had mentioned this too about the advice that Bon gave you, when you were younger, but you returned that
Yeah.
to Jamal King, who also ended up, you talked about it, you talked about with Corey Holden, advice you gave him. You gave some advice
Mhm.
to Jamal, and that carried
Mhm.
him along, to have a successful career and, and transfer and do great things. Talk a little bit about, just the advice, you gave him before we move on.
Um, I remember losing to Bonzi, and Bonzi, it's that I don't know. Uh, real recognize real, right? And
Hmm.
Bonzi
Hmm.
came over to me after that game and he respected how hard I played and how I was, really into guys on defense and he's seen the same potential in me. And throughout those years, we will always see each other in passing, you know what I'm saying? And we will always show love. But at the end of that game, my freshman year, he came over to me and he was like, "Hey man, like you're next, man. Like don't even worry about it. You're next. I definitely see you doing your thing." And I was like, "All right, cool. Respect." And ever since then, it was always love when I seen that guy. And dang, it's crazy how things work. I see Jamal,
Hmm.
he's crying, man. He's crying. Like he got
Hmm.
tears. Like this guy, he's a competitor, man. And anybody that know Jamal King is a dog, man. Like he can
Yeah,
really
yeah,
go,
straight
he
dog,
can go, he can
straight
go
dog.
put that ball in the hoop for real. So I
Hmm.
heard a lot about him coming up too, as a youngin coming up under me and playing in some of those tournaments
Yeah.
down there. I heard a lot about him. And I just wanted to go over there and, show him some love. I pretty much told him the same thing, like, yo, you next, like, don't worry about it. Like you got, yo, dog, you got 3 more years to do this, man. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
over for me. I'm coming down to
Hmm.
the finish line now. And I was like, man,
Hmm.
just hold your head up and yo, you got 3 more years coming. I didn't know he was going to transfer and something I wanted to tap into.
Yeah, sure.
Um, I almost wasn't an Easton Warrior.
Really.
Yeah. I had played at a 5-star basketball tournament. Not a 5-star basketball tournament, but a 5-star camp. I went to a camp up in
Hmm.
Frostburg or something like that. And
Yeah.
oh, my bad, not 5-star. Coach Wooten, Coach Wooten.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. We
I
can.
went
Yeah.
to his I went to Wooten camp and I ended up playing in an all-star game. And at the time, I didn't even this is like me being a kid and not understanding the politics of basketball. At the time, or my parents either. At the time, almost O'Connell was trying to get me to go to their school
Oh, wow.
after
Wow.
the tournament. the same school that Jamal ended up going to.
That Jamal went to.
Yeah, O'Connell. They was I remember me leaving, packing up my bags, and them running over to my mother, like 3 different high schools, and my mom just being like, nah, he's an Easton Warrior, like he's a warrior. Like, but they was trying to recruit me to go to O'Connell though, real hard. You know, they was like, yo, you love the food down here, blah blah blah. Yo, we gonna take care of you. So I almost, if my mom knew the politics of basketball or knew like I would have like a better shot and better education, maybe. I don't know. Easton High is pretty good, but I almost probably would have ended up at O'Connell, man, for sure.
Wow. Nah, thanks for sharing. And what year or age was you when you went there where that was gonna happen?
I was in the 8th grade going into 9th, man. That summer.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow.
But if my mother understood the politics that went into it, I didn't know how big O'Connell was. That's like national level. If she understood the politics and everything that went into it, or knew I would have had a better shot going there, then she probably would have been all ears to it. But nah, she was like, nah, you Easton Warrior, but I wouldn't even trade it for nothing. I had some of the best times in that black and orange, in that orange and black, man. I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Man, it was breaking news on the Real Sports Fan podcast, man. Jaw dropping that, man. That would have been something, like you said, from a individual standpoint. You know, I've seen that catapult guys, you know, but like you said, you know, we wouldn't have had those, you know, I was a little biased when I had those 3 straight trips to the state Final Four and those regional championships. But man, wow, that's something, man. I appreciate you you know, sharing that, you know, for sure. So beat Waha again, and Patterson Mill. I remember being to this game too. It was a real low scoring game, nip and tuck. I mean, I think second quarter, I think the team scored 3, third quarter scored 8, and close game in the fourth. And then, man, I don't know what got into you. Well, I know what got into you. It was a chance to get back across the bridge, man. And you end up scoring 16 of your 22. If I'm not mistaken, 16 or 22 in the fourth quarter of that game, and y'all win 47-42. And now, you had 16 of the 22 points that the whole team had in the fourth quarter after struggling. You know, so what was your mentality like in that fourth? You know, knowing that you know, the team's not playing that good right now. It's low scoring. Both teams kind of sluggish. You know, talk about how you took that game over to be back regional champ.
Man, those guys, they had a really great game plan. They was out for me. They set a lot of screens too, a lot of hard screens. So you know that wears you down. And plus, they're sending like two people at me. They basically on some like how we did her, man. They wanted somebody else to beat them, not me. So I had to lean into those guys and tell those guys like, yo, look, you got to step up when it's time for me to turn it on. Like I'm gonna definitely turn it on, you know. But right now they got me. They got my number right now, and I just remember I had 0 points that first half, 0 points, 0 points. They had my number that night, and I remember halftime. I think Marty called a timeout. Shotty said something. Me and Shotty gets into it on the thing. And I remember before, like the day before that at practice, he's like, yo, I'm going to get a dunk, man. I'm going to get a dunk. And I think I said something about, man, we on the bench, we get into it. I'm like, man, you worry about this effing dunk, man. Man, play ball, man. Like something like that. And then he's like, you ain't talking to me like that, blah, blah. So we get into it. And then next thing you know, this is when it started jumping. I think I get a steal. Shotty's ahead of me. I throw it to Shotty. I didn't think he was going to dunk it, man. He ain't dunk all year. You know, he kind of jumped like his uncle sometimes.
Yeah. Shout out to Bo.
Yeah, he jumped like Bonk sometimes. So next thing you know, man, I see him. He put the left hand joint up, got the one hand dunk, and it went crazy. And then we started really getting it on, and that's when they put that battery in my back, and I was like, oh no, we ain't losing this. No, we ain't going home like this, not like this.
Yeah.
So I started killing those dudes, man.
You did, man. It made sense because, like you said, I mean, they already scored us in the first half, and like I said, a lot of that had to do just kind of what you were saying earlier, that teams knew not only who Easton Wars was, but they knew who Ringgold was. So they came into that game knowing, especially that year, knowing if they can stop you, because if I'm not mistaken, you might have to remind me on this one. But prior to that, I know you guys were dealing with a couple injuries. I think Gordon was sick. And then somebody else had got banged up. I'm not sure if it was like somebody else had got banged up as well. You know what I mean? So they were really trying to put that pressure on you. But like you said, shotties don't shout to shotty. That don't smart you and y'all getting into it as brothers do. I tell people all the time. One thing about guys and brothers, man, we can get into it right now. We'll go do what we gotta do, and then after the game, we say, "Hey, come on, man, let's go get something to eat." It's forgotten. Like that's just what we do. You know what I'm saying? But then that sparked you, to score, 16 in the fourth quarter. You end up with 19 in the game. Y'all win 47-42. And how was that feeling, man? To go, know you going for the third straight time, across the bridge, man. It's big, huge.
I remember like. It started to become normal, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was cheering, everybody was cheering. And I remember, God rest his soul, I remember Troy being the loudest in the gym, man. Loudest in the gym because they don't know, man. He kept us together from when we was kids, and for him to get to witness and see us do that, and I think his son was banged up. His son was banged up.
That's what it was. Tay had a knee injury. Yeah, that's what I couldn't think of. Tay, y'all, thank you. Yep.
His knee was banged up, and Gordon was sick with the flu. He was out for like a few weeks, so he's trying to like get back into basketball shape. And I remember just Troy being the loudest in the room, and I just remember looking up to him, and we had a moment, and he was just like, "Yo, dude, like, don't forget me when you get there." And I'm like. He always said that to me. Don't forget me when you get there, bro. And I just shook my head like, yeah, like you already know, like you my guy for real.
Yeah.
You my guy. And
man, that's what's up.
And we go on into the state joint, and they got tough. They got tough from there for sure. Marty.
Yeah, I know. I mean, talk about. I know y'all ran into a tough Largo team when you got there. They beat y'all 61-44. But talk about what happened and that loss and getting there.
I think I started. I think I was like exhausted, man. I think it was like just those years of keep doing it. And when I was watching Jordan and seeing how many times he went and did it, and you see how he left the game a little bit and then came back to the game.
Yeah,
like everything started to get exhausting. But I told those guys, like, I'm gonna get us there. I don't know what's gonna happen. And I remember Largo, man, they came out firing. Marty was like, yo, this dude is quicker. He was showing us film all week. He was like, we're gonna come out in the zone. I don't think everyone agreed with that zone because they had a shooter, man. This dude was shooting like as soon as he came across half court. He had four threes straight. He had 4 threes straight to start out the game. And then after that, that's getting their crowd hype. We don't even got they didn't suck the life out of us, and we had to come out that zone. We never should have went in the zone. I feel like maybe he should have just let me and him go head up and let somebody else beat us. I would have just guarded the guy from the get-go, and I'm gonna just depend on Shotty Gordon and Ike to go get the job done. But I'm gonna spend my energy chasing this guy. But yeah, he hit 4 threes, and that took the life out of us. And that was that. I would just remember being like having the press conference, and I was just like, man, I'm ready to see what I'm gonna do after this, after high school.
Got you. So wraps up a great career. And what's crazy is, going back and researching all this stuff is, I always thought it was crazy to get the, 3 straight. I mean, I would have took one of them, but to get the 3 straight, but you were so close to your career to getting the 4, which is just, even more beyond when you think about, a 2-point loss in your freshman year, but a great career. You end up obviously playing in the All-Star game and you guys win and you make first team, with Karan Phillips from Kent. That boy could jump out the gym. Dodd was DeMonte Dodd was player of the year. I think he averaged 26 or 14 that year. But another great year, another first team appearance. You got 2 first team, 1 player of the year, a second team, and 3 straight trips to the state Final Four. Just looking back now, what stands out, what do you take from everything that you accomplished? Obviously, I know you were a team first guy, so I know you want to say your teammates, but, just talk about, what you guys as a whole accomplished, man, because that's just huge, man, to do what y'all did.
Oh, man. It's something that, it's something you definitely can base a movie off of, because that's how it felt. It felt like a movie. It felt like it's something it's going to be a long time before something like that ever can be done again. As far as in Easton, it's in the record books, and that's just something no one can take away from us. No one can take that away from us. And all that time, we put the work in, and shout out to Marty and the whole coaching staff, Gibbo, all those guys, man, just taking their time out of their day, like their 2 hours out of their day, just to help us achieve some of our goals and our dreams, man. Even being that father figure and being there for us when, when we needed someone just to speak on life, life. Because we're young adults and we're going through things now. Like, we got little girlfriends and we stress about this and this, that, and the third. And you know what I mean? Mon Dukes might be on us for doing something we did. And,
right.
You know what I mean? Just being that father figure and being able to have those conversations. And my uncle, man. My uncle played a big role in my life. He always kept me around basketball. Even when y'all was out playing at some of the parks, my uncle Jamel, he would have me with him. Like, and I got to witness some of the things he did. And it kind of just transferred over into my life. I started playing out the parks and stuff and going to different towns, and some of the stuff y'all did, going to Denton, playing against some of those cats out there. Some cats that might not even had a shot, but they nice. You know what I mean? You know how it is. Same thing in Easton, man. I'm playing against cats. Yeah, they nice, but they just ain't never had that shot. So yeah, man. Yeah, definitely was. I just think about all those things, man. All the times I spent out on the court late night, my mom having to call me in the house when the lights went out. You know what I mean? I'm still out there. We hooping in the dark, trying to win this game of 21 in the 3-on-3. We getting in
5 more minutes, Mom.
Yeah. Like, please, it's getting real serious out here. Like, this dude been talking crazy all day. I'm trying to kill this dude. And man, I just think about just being on our Parkway and just having those guys out there, like some of the dudes I grew up with, and going through some of the things we went through. You know what I mean? It wasn't the best of living, but all of those, shout out to all those moms out there that they was all hardworking women. They always wanted to see us do well for ourselves. A lot of those guys, they went on to do, well for themselves in their own right. I ended up, going to college and getting my degree in criminal justice, minoring in psychology. And
congrats, my guy.
Yeah, and man, I just sit back and I just reminisce sometimes and be like, yo, those were some great times. I get to cut up with some of my buddies. We talk about it. And shout out to
Yeah.
my other right-hand guy. He was the camera guy. His name is Tony. He was our camera guy, but he was on all the trips, and he was like my right-hand guy. Probably be my best man, you know what I'm saying? That was my guy, for sure.
That's what's
And
up.
man, yo, like it's just like it's unreal. It feel unreal. It's like, yeah, man, we really did all that. We really did all that.
I bet. Man, I bet, man. Thinking back and you know, even me thinking back on and being at some of those games, man, what y'all did, man, it was legendary stuff, man. And what you did, you know, personally was legendary stuff, man. So, you know, I salute you, man. And the lineage you got on both sides of your family is crazy. You know what I mean? So you got it right, man. Like you came straight from the mud, man, because like that dog that was in you, you know, that's one thing people say, like, you know, even I posted the flyer earlier, man, he was a dog, you know, he was a goat, you know, he was this, you know what I mean? Because you left it all out there, man. And one thing that always stuck out to me watching you from afar was your leadership. And that's the thing. I seen your game, and your game was nice, you know what I'm saying? But your leadership, man, always stuck out, you know, to me from afar, man. So that's dope. That's dope, man. So look, before I let you go, you already know. Before I let you go, I know I ran a little bit over. I'm gonna give you a couple quick hitters. Just a couple quick things. Just a couple quick things that come to my mind, and just to touch on. What if you were to name? And it ain't gotta be necessarily one player. I know you talked about Herb and guys like that, but maybe somebody you haven't named besides the Herbs, the Corey Holdens, the Jamal Kings, that you looked across and you knew you had to bring it, you know, that night, you know, because you knew who you was matched up with on the other side. Just give me a name or two, a couple people.
We ain't get into it, but yo, Karan Phillips was a whew.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Quandre's on here too. Shout out Quandre. Yeah, he was. Yeah, Karan was tough. Yeah,
Karan. Woo. You better lace your shoes up, because he was this cat carried fresh. He came through with the Delaware swag, and he was doing this thing. He was doing this thing at Kent. He was jumping out the gym. He was laying up on guys. And I was just like, man, this All-Star game is gonna be fun when I get to play with those dudes, man. We gonna
y'all did y'all
man.
thing.
And Karan is one of those guys, man, for sure. Karan. If I had to think of anyone that we didn't name, really, Karan was one of those guys.
Yeah,
man. He was tough, man. He was tough.
That's dope. Yeah, y'all definitely had fun in that All-Star game and getting that win against the South, going on that run y'all went on. Let me ask you this. Go ahead.
One more. I got you.
Sure.
Forget about after Herb and them. You had Aaron Moore.
Yeah, Aaron Moore. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He's gritty.
Yep.
He's gritty. And we played against each other a lot during the summer, just in Denton. But he's gritty. And yeah, we brothers outside of this, but we try and rip each other heads off. And those games was always physical with him. So you got to definitely lace your shoes up when you face him too.
Right. That's a good one. That's actually a good one. I forgot about him. That's a good one. I hate to have you choose, but I'd ask Marty this as well. Out of those teams you played with, you know, what would you say, you know, was the best top to bottom, you know, off those three straight, regional championship teams? I know it's tough to choose.
Yeah, I have to say, to go 18-0, really? Like that team with Pre, AJ, and I think this is when Shotty and Gordon and all those guys, they're freaking like just coming up off of JV, but they're on their team too. They're coming off the bench. So that's a pretty tough team. That's a tough team, man.
Tough.
It's a tough team to be.
Yeah. That would be who I choose, but you played, so I wanted to ask you, but you know, that record was crazy. Because again, I forgot y'all went 18-0, but the talent, y'all was so deep. The depth y'all had on that team was crazy. So You know what I'm saying? So that was well said on that front. And then I gotta get a NBA prediction from you. Don't only be right with what's going on, in the league. It's playoff time. Let me get your Eastern Conference winner. Let me get your Western Conference winner, and let me get your champion and the reason why.
Let me think. Well, I'm gonna go straight. I'm gonna go into the East first.
Okay.
Brooklyn, man. Brooklyn is going to the finals. The reason why I said that is because, James Harden is the X factor, and some of the things he do, like he don't even have to score the ball, dude, and he could definitely pull that team to get a win. And then you got these. We just seen it the other night, man. 81 points combined between those three guys.
It's crazy.
How you beat those guys in a 7-game series? I don't think it.
Scary.
I don't think it can be done. So I'm gonna go with Brooklyn over there. In the West, this is where it gets crazy.
That's tough. Yeah, it's tough in the West.
LA with all the injuries, it's like you can't really say those guys right now. So if I got to go with someone out West, I'm gonna say Portland.
Ooh, I like that. Dark horse. Okay, and Portland will have to go through either the Lakers or Phoenix in that second round. You know what I mean? If they get there, obviously they assuming they beat Denver, which I agree. I think they'll beat Denver as well. So that's interesting. So Portland and that's good. Portland and Brooklyn, and obviously I'm sure you got BK winning that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I got them winning the final.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. My man, Ja Ringgold, man. I tell you, man, again, man, it was all my pleasure, man, that the fact that you came and did this, man. Like I said, I have been plotting this out even before I asked you, and we talked about this. Man, I think we probably planned this like a couple of months ago, and even before then, I had been wanting you on and had talked about it, man. So again, man, I just want to salute you, man, just for not just the basketball player you were, but just the man that you are, today, and the insight that you gave, not just with the team, man, but even the things you shared, in your life, man. I just appreciate you, man. Anything you ever need, man, I'm here. We definitely gotta stay in touch. You know what I'm saying? Definitely always good to chop it up with you, and all that good stuff, man. So it's definitely been a pleasure, being able to chop it up, man. Anything you want to, you want to say before we get off here?
Man, thanks for having me on. A lot of people don't get those, like the insight or the work that went into it. A lot of kids just now, they just get out there and do it. But like anything you do, man, you got to put the work in. It don't matter what you do. If you find something you love, you got to just put that work in, put the time in, and just understand, like, if you don't put the work in, things can be taken from you, just like that. So if I had to give any advice to some kids that's up and coming, it's like, man, put the work in and go through the process and just keep continue to put that work in, and the sky is the limit, man.
Man, hey, that's word right there. I ain't gonna come after that and say nothing, man, because that's the gospel right there, man. So listen, Real Sports Fan Podcast, Lance Wilson, Ja Ringgold, appreciate you, dog.
Yes, sir.
You be safe,
Thank
man.
You.
Appreciate you.
Too.
We out of here. Yes, sir. Peace, brother.
Peace.